I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. I ain't never really wanted to go, but I don't go to a lot of people parties. You know, that just ain't what I'm in it for.
And somewhat grounded accusations against Jay-Z and Beyonce. People believe that over the years, Jay-Z's connections to R. Kelly and P. Diddy mean that he at the very least knew about some of the stuff they were up to, and possibly was even involved. Especially when lawyers involved in Diddy's case right now are saying things like this.
When Ice Cube grabbed that mic in Las Vegas last September, no one expected fireworks. But oh honey, he didn't just speak, he detonated a bomb on the entire industry. Picture it, the Yamava Theater is packed, fans are hyped, and Cube leans into the mic like he's about to perform a classic. But instead, he flat out clears his name and throws shade so thick you could cut it with a knife. Me and WC ain't never been to a Diddy party, he said loud and proud. And that one sentence, whew, it lit social media on fire. People started praising Cube like he just saved the entire West Coast from scandal. But here's where it gets juicy. Because while Cube was keeping it real, he was also pointing a subtle finger. And that finger, it was aimed straight at none other than Jay-Z.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party, motherfucker. You ain't gotta worry about us on them motherfucking tapes. Now check this out.
Diddy, you're hearing Diddy everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really kind of, lost contact with him and really stopped, dealing with Puffy around 94.
You don't believe in that ghostwriting stuff, right?
No, I don't. I think that's messed up the game.
Yeah.
Especially you got, so let's go back to artists bragging on the plaques and shit they got. And they didn't even write. You bragging on a record by committee.
Oh shit!
It's just real. Like that's why the game is twisted.
Imagine you found out Jay-Z never wrote his. Like you would look at him so different.
You look at everybody different when you find out they don't like this shit. Yeah, in hip hop, it's like you're an MC or you're a vocalist. Which one?
Now let's pause, because what Cube didn't say spoke louder than what he did. He never went, sure, but someone had to. And just like that, whispers turned into roars. Was Jay-Z involved? And baby, when the fans and feds start connecting dots, things get wild. According to prosecutors, Diddy's infamous all-white parties weren't just elite hangouts. Nope. They were allegedly filled with secret recordings, coercion, and even trafficking. And those party tapes? They weren't cute little memories. They were leverage, blackmail, control. Suddenly, Jay-Z's name wasn't just on music charts, it was on a growing list of people who knew more than they let on.
There's a lot of negative stuff around Jay-Z right now, which is clearly damaging to him.
Yeah, and I think there's like a famous quote from someone who was acquitted, and he said, all right, where do I go to get my reputation back?
Right.
I mean, social media was a light. Beyonce's next, Jay-Z's next, all the people in the inner circle is next.
Yeah, and the problem is there are just so many pictures of the two of them partying together, and he clearly was at a lot of Diddy parties.
Photos from P. Diddy's notorious white parties over the years are starting to resurface. Here's one in the year 2000 with his then girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez. And the Daily Mail just dropped an article that includes a video of P. Diddy on a balcony talking to his guests. He says, quote, "Kids have an hour left, then this thing turns into something that when you get older, this is something y'all gonna want to come to. So let's just start to get our groove on, put the kids away, it's all good." He started throwing these parties back in 1998, and the last official party took place in Los Angeles in 2009. They were attended by a ton of A-listers, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Mariah Carey, Tommy Lee, and the Daily Mail included other photos as well that are probably too inappropriate for TikTok, so I'm not including them in this video.
Then came the lawsuit. Enter Adria Sherry English, a former dancer who dropped legal papers so explosive you could hear the industry gasp. She says everything started off innocent, just a few gigs in 2004. She was hired to dance, but by her third party, the vibes turned dark, and we're not talking about dim lighting.
I am wildly shook at this. You're gonna wanna hear this. One of Diddy's accusers, Adria English, alleged to Lionel B on YouTube that one of the people she was trafficked to at the hands of Diddy was someone very high profile and even royalty. What do you guys think?
Who were some of those major celebrities that Diddy actually trafficked you to?
Jacob the jeweler. Hey, Jacob. The others are from European countries and of a royalty. Very royal. Very royal.
Like princes, that type of thing?
Definitely a prince.
Whoa.
The opposite of being smooth. If you have smooth arms as opposed to... Actually, when I got there, it was just about dancing. That's all he talked to me about, dancing. He took us all in a room. He's in a room in the mansion. You can see it. We in a room. It's like a bedroom. He was like, get ready, get dressed. And, you know, at the end of the night, I'm gonna make sure I take care of you guys and everything like that. And I was like, cool. I'm from Cali. I'm happy. Looking around, it's all these New York artists, people I grew up on, Diddy. And I'm hyped up. I'm like a groupie in there. I'm not knowing they looking at me like somebody because I came from doing porn. I'm a stripper. Now I'm in my 20s. I'm 46 now. I was 20 something. I'm not knowing they looking at me like a certain thing until now. Mary J. Blige, her original husband that, you know, ended up, you know, breaking up with her. I got Paris Hilton. I got Diana Ross. I got Evan Ross. Everybody. Jacob the jeweler, Diddy. I mean, everybody. I'm just
what were they
taking pictures.
doing in these pictures? Like, what
In
kind of
these
pictures?
pictures, it was regular pictures.
Okay.
Just at the party, you know, we doing it, you know, just regular party pictures. Now, Diddy had 3 different stages set up in his mansion. So it's a stage right here, but in his house, not a big ass stage, but just elevated. He wanted us to be, it's 3 of us. So he had Tamiko right here, me right here, me right here. Our job was to dance for 45 minutes, and then it was literally our job to get off the stage and go drink. When we drink, I felt fucked up. You know, I felt so fucked up because I was paid as a stripper at Lyrical. I know what it takes to be drunk. I felt way more fucked up. I ain't gonna say nothing about it, you know? We were instructed to only drink from certain liquor bottles. Girls don't drink the guy champagne, girls don't drink the boy champagne. And all the champagne was laced with ketamine, like horse tranquilizer, ecstasy. That's not allegedly. We were all doped up. And to this day, I believe we all, and I know I do, have a chemical imbalance. Like whenever I drink anything, it could be 1 glass of wine, all of a sudden I'm a stripper, I'm a P-star, like on my mind, I just black out and I'm that. I'm She Diddy. You know, Orlando Brown running around like I'm Puff. He not really act like it to everybody else. Everybody looking like he want attention, like he wilding, like, but it's something about when he you that he stood over you, like infusing himself into you while you laid there unconscious, and it's like it became a part of you. Because after a certain amount, they started calling me She Diddy. She was only 11 years old when she was kidnapped and drugged with jelly beans and flown on a private jet to New York. In that picture, and with the girl on Diddy's lap with the D&G sweater, that's her. She's 11 years old in that picture. They put those clothes on her. They did her makeup.
And here's where Beyonce's name enters the scandal. One of the key exhibits in Adria's case, a Miami booking invoice from July 2004. And right there in black and white, Beyonce Knowles listed as the performer. And the manager who signed off, Jay Carter. That's right, Jay-Z. Let that sink in. Jay-Z didn't just bring Beyonce to those parties. He booked her. Give me paper. Officially. This wasn't hearsay. This was proof.
And then if I am a guest, the audacity of me thinking I could just come in some little go-go shorts and a bikini top to somebody's exclusive white party with all kind of millionaires, and I'm a guest of who? But I'm their guest, and I'm gonna just show up like that, not a nice elegant gown or nothing. I'm gonna just show up all hoochie mama? No. I was on his event staff, but that's how they got away with putting me in there without trying to give me no employee credit. Right. And then I found out later, another reason why they put me in the Vibe magazine is so all the guys who wanted extras would know who to look for at the parties and to laugh at me because they took advantage of me after they drugged me and I was unconscious. The Fed said, or allegedly, I'm not gonna say, someone said that when they did the raid, I'm on them tapes and there's multiple A-list celebrities running a train on me, including certain people.
As Jay became more involved in Beyonce's career, an insider told Celebuzz that Beyonce's dad was pushed to the side. The insider added, "There's no bigger controller than Jay. Beyonce is great, but she'd be a little lower on the totem pole if it weren't for hooking up with Jay." The insider said Beyonce went from being under the control of her dad to being under the control of her husband. And as much as she wanted to make her own decisions, there was always a man around pulling her strings. Beyonce severed ties with her dad and fired him as her manager in 2011 amid accusations of theft. She now has her own management company called Parkwood Entertainment. Beyonce said she had been through it all in terms of betrayals and heartbreaks. She wrote, "I have had disappointments in business partnerships as well as personal ones, and they all left me feeling neglected, lost, and vulnerable." In another essay, she wrote how coming from a lineage of broken male-female relationships, abuse of power and mistrust affected her. Many people hoped Beyonce would break free from the generational curse that appeared to be wreaking havoc in her life. But instead, she and Jay welcomed twins in 2017. And if you watched our Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake video, then you've already heard the term Band-Aid baby, which is a term that's used to describe a child that's conceived in order to help a couple's failing relationship. Were the twins Band-Aid babies? We're unsure.
It gets worse. A paparazzi photo from South Beach, summer 2003, shows Jay-Z cozy at a VIP table with Diddy, Russell Simmons, and Andre Harrell. He's in a sharp suit, watching the room like a hawk. Another lesser-known snap from 2004 shows Beyonce standing close to the stage, eyes on the security like she's not just watching, she's aware. No more maybe. No more, it's just a rumor. This was real. The invoice said it. The photos proved it. Jay-Z wasn't just managing her career, he was managing her presence at the most controversial parties in hip-hop.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire.
Wait, so hold on. Why is there chatter about Jay-Z being in the same club as Diddy? Allegedly, it's because of his interest in young girls. So rumor has it that Jay-Z exploits young women in the industry, young enough to be his own daughter. Now, if you've been following Jay-Z closely, you'll know that he's far from the wholesome family man he portrays himself to be. So Jay-Z has been under scrutiny for quite some time. Do you guys remember when he was romantically involved with Foxy Brown? Yeah, she was just 15 years old and he was 27. That raised more than a few eyebrows. But wait, there's more. Jay-Z maintains close friendships with Diddy, Russell Simmons, and R. Kelly, each of whom has faced allegations related to their relationships with underage girls. Now, with fresh evidence coming to light, it won't be long before Jay-Z has to address these shady connections to Diddy.
You want to know why there is no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common professionally.
This is my boss, my old boss, and my good friend, Andre Harrell. This is Russell Simmons. You know, this is like, you know, it came under his wing, trying to follow in his footsteps for years.
They taught me so much. I feel everybody needs somebody to teach them, but you also got to be humble enough and willing to learn.
His learned behavior from the people that mentored him. He learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis.
So when Ice Cube stepped back and said, "We were never there," it wasn't just a flex, it was a message. He was telling fans, look where your loyalty really lies. Jay-Z made sure Beyonce was invited. He controlled where she stood, who she saw, who saw her. And that, my friend, is where the image of hip-hop's royal couple starts to crack. We've known them for the glitz, the glam, the Grammys, but behind the scenes, they weren't just guests, they were gatekeepers, the silent conductors of Diddy's orchestra of secret.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, you know, I'm not the partying type, you know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party, ain't never really wanted to go, but I don't go to a lot of people parties. You know, that just ain't what I'm in it for. You know, you've been to one, you've been to them all.
Are you surprised at what things are coming out with Diddy at all, or you're like, you have no idea? It's none of my business. You'll live longer. Is that kind of like the mindset?
I mean, surprised. How could you be surprised with anything that happens in hip hop? You know, hip hop is the Wild West. So you're gonna have the good, you're gonna have the bad, you're gonna have the ugly.
You think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, you know, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home?
And what did her parents think about her dating someone 12 years older than her? Despite Jay leaving the streets behind and making positive changes to be a better person, it appeared that Beyonce's dad, Matthew, could see right through him. Because, as they say, game recognized game. During a November 2006 interview with NPR, Matthew was asked, "Tell us what you really thought about Jay-Z as the guy for your daughter." Matthew's answer was, "What went through my mind was next question." Did you get that? Next. The London Mirror also quoted Matthew as saying he didn't care for Jay at all. He added, "No, I'm not close to him. He is not somebody I like to spend time with."
Beyonce is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say so?
I mean, probably not, considering she's gonna be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z.
Let's talk timeline. Beyonce was barely 18 when Destiny's Child blew up. She was fresh, vulnerable, just stepping into fame. Jay-Z, a seasoned mogul, already stacking deals at Rockefeller Records. People always wondered how beats skyrocketed so fast. Now we have receipts. That invoice wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a key. A backstage pass into a world where Jay-Z was pulling the strings. Not just for her career, but for her proximity to people like Diddy. And those parties, they weren't networking mixers. They were controlled access zones with invisible cost.
After meeting each other in the year 2000, Jay-Z and Beyonce began dating in 2001. When Beyonce was 19 and Jay-Z was 31, which was already a little strange right off the bat. Regardless, both of them were already fairly successful as artists. Jay-Z had multiple successful albums out, had hit the Billboard charts a few times, and had also worked with artists like Mariah Carey, Biggie, and Kanye. He also created his record label Rockefeller Records. Around the same time, Beyonce was coming up with Destiny's Child, and they also had their fair share of chart-topping hits. And despite the crazy amount of success that they already had, as I'm sure most of you guys know, they went on to become some of the biggest artists ever. With Jay-Z becoming a huge music mogul aside from his personal success as an artist, I mean, Jay-Z's been called the greatest rapper of all time by multiple publications, and Beyonce has been named one of the greatest vocalists and entertainers of all time as well. So these two were destined to become a power couple, and that's exactly what they became. The two have collaborated on multiple songs over the years, which helped both of their careers. Jay-Z has released iconic albums like The Blueprint and 444. Some of their imagery in their music videos has also garnered some attention. For example, in the music video for Jay-Z's song On to the Next One, there's imagery like crucifixes and skulls that resemble Baphomet, which many people think is referencing the Illuminati or Jay-Z selling his soul to the devil. And Beyonce has also been suspected of this stuff for similar reasons. For example, some people believe that playing her song Single Ladies backwards reveals a bunch of meanings like the world will bow to me, people's tears will fall. I mean, some of the comments on this video just go to show how many crazy things people were thinking. And I'm going to interject
interject my opinion here real quick. When you play a song backwards and someone tells you what to hear, you're probably going to hear that thing. That's just how your brain works, and it's kind of like the whole Yanny and Laurel thing, so that's not good evidence at all. Regardless, for this and her other imagery, people thought she too was in the Illuminati. On top of all of that stuff, a lot of people point to this clip of Kanye calling out Jay-Z, asking Jay not to kill him, and instead asking Jay to call him.
I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head.
A lot of people have been making much more serious and somewhat grounded accusations against Jay-Z and Beyonce.
People believe that over the years, Jay-Z's connections to R. Kelly and P. Diddy mean that he at the very least knew about some of the stuff they were up to, and possibly was even involved, especially when lawyers involved in Diddy's case right now are saying things like this.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
That lawyer even went on to say that there would be some eyebrow-raising names, which is why people think Jay-Z is involved. Diddy and Jay-Z have been friends since the 90s, when they were both going up in the music industry. They even collaborated on a track in 1997.
And for Beyonce, the cost was terrifying. Multiple lawsuits now claim these parties included private rooms set up specifically for sex acts. Attendees were told those rooms are off limits, unless you're part of the silence. Unless you're ready to play the game. And Beyonce, she was barely out of her teens, navigating fame, relying on a husband who doubled as a manager. Imagine that. The same man who books her concerts also sends you into a scene of alleged exploitation. What choice did she really have?
I literally took one sip of my beverage and the whole side of my face felt like I had a stroke.
When I was at Diddy's parties, I met Diddy.
Just be aware, Diddy's the host and Diddy is the leader.
We were like these little rabbits and they were like these wolves that would surround you, and you felt like you were fresh meat. Yeah.
American rapper Christian Rock allegedly claims that this happened while she was at Diddy party.
Diddy party? We went to the little private area because he had a house behind his house. Like he had a backyard with his backyard with a fattest bed. Me and Lemmy go upstairs. They tell him that he can't bring his security. He went in with no security, so it's just me and Lemmy. We go up in there. We go upstairs. He like, what's up, Diddy? You met Krishan. You gave her kisses on the cheek, and then he grabbed Lemmy by his neck. It was like, but do you with her? Like, don't play with her. All she needs is love. Don't play with her. Don't play with her. And I didn't understand that till my checks start coming back short from the subscriptions of Crazy in Love. He started putting people, like personally putting people that doesn't me that I had like street beef with on the show.
What's your thoughts on this?
Another resurfaced video of Diddy that did not age well.
What's the ingredient? What do you do to make just an amazing killer party? Because
this is what you need to do. Women, beautiful women. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course. We need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right.
Some water. A lot of ladies drink water at parties. They
right.
just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with you, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you doing?
Depends on the way you look.
Some say Beyonce trusted Jay-Z blindly. Others, they believe Jay-Z crossed a dangerous line. He wasn't just managing her bookings. He was managing her entire existence, her image, her appearances, and allegedly her exposure to high-risk environments. That invoice from 2004? It doesn't lie. There's no PR spin that can erase a name and signature in the same document. Fast forward to 2016, and suddenly it all clicks. Beyonce drops Lemonade, a heart-wrenching album full of betrayal and pain. Then Jay-Z follows with 444, his confessional apology to the world. But now we know it wasn't just about cheating. It was about control, about secrets we weren't supposed to see.
She instantly broke the internet, okay? On the album's fourth track, Sorry, Queen Bee calls out an unfaithful partner and ends the song by saying, he better call Becky with the good hair. You guys heard that, right? Well, many people are speculating that Becky's actually fashion designer Rachel Roy, and that she was the cause of the infamous elevator fight between Jay and Beyonce's sister Solange back in 2014.
Basically, she had to come to terms with the fact that her man was disloyal. I couldn't really, and I wasn't really trying to even hear that side, because let's be honest, man, a lot of times when we cheat, it's a pretty selfish thing, okay? If you really thought about what the other person would think, you probably wouldn't do it. So you're doing it really out of selfishness. Now, of course, Jay-Z's name was dragged through the mud, but I mean, they are together, they have a beautiful daughter, and they have now twins, so we knew that they got past it somehow. So we were all wondering, when was Jay-Z gonna respond? And he did respond on his new album, 444, okay? He responded with the title track where he really addressed everything that Beyonce really laid out on her album, okay? Now, he started off in just the boldest way possible by saying, look, I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes, took for these natural twins to believe in miracles, and then he goes to explain how much he was doing dirt and how much he was thinking of it in the wrong way.
Rumors now in 2025, the whispers have grown into full-on roars. Divorce rumors, non-stop. Insider reports claim Beyonce has met with family law titans. Jay-Z's allegedly reached out to criminal defense attorneys. And behind the scenes, everyone's eyeing that one piece of paper, the Miami invoice. Is it more than just a receipt? Could it unravel their entire brand? Could it put everything from their empire to their children's legacy at risk? Because when legal teams start dissecting prenups that mention party records, you know it's serious.
Jay-Z and Beyonce appeared to be the perfect couple, but all that changed in May after the world saw Solange laid a smackdown on Jay in an elevator.
Since the couple, divorce rumors have been non-stop, with each day bringing about a new story of an imminent split.
Probably not what they were planning while in the middle of their first co-headlining tour, or is it?
Ooh, the rumors. In a recent article, Billboard.com speculated that the entire ordeal might just be a bit of carefully orchestrated tour promotion.
That's right. PR crisis manager Jonathan Hay told Billboard the fight could have been a ploy to get both regular and entertainment news outlets to talk about the couple and promote their tour in the process, saying, always consider the timing in these situations. That staged elevator fight hit the news immediately before the release of their On the Run tour trailer video. They created a compelling spectacle, which ultimately creates a demand.
Okay, I get what he's saying with that, but I really don't think the scuffle was made up. I think it was completely genuine. And if it was just a ploy for publicity, you would have think that they'd make Solange look a bit better.
Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, is speaking out about some recent social media activity. On December 9th, a 70-year-old took to Instagram and claimed her account was hacked after she seemingly liked a post from ABC7 Chicago that shared details about the allegations against her son-in-law, Jay-Z, whose legal name is Sean Carter, which he has denied. The matriarch shared a screenshot from her phone's Notes app on Instagram where she claimed, quote, I was hacked. As you all know, I do not play about my family. So if you see something uncharacteristic of me, just know that is not me. In her caption, she warned fans to stop with the nonsense, writing, please stop playing with me, along with the Bible verse, no weapon formed against my family shall prosper. Tina's clarification comes on the heels of new legal drama hitting Jay-Z. He was named a defendant in a lawsuit on Sunday that alleges he raped a 13-year-old girl allegedly alongside Sean Diddy Combs in 2000.
Let's not forget, Ice Cube didn't even say Jay-Z's name, but the moment he stepped back and cleared his own, the spotlight moved. Cube guided us there, quietly, calculated, and now the paper trail is undeniable. Beyonce's legacy, Jay-Z's business empire, it's all under scrutiny now. So next time you're watching their Super Bowl halftime performance or streaming renaissance, remember, behind every dazzling stage moment is a shadow, and in that shadow, invoices, documents, deals made not just for success, but for survival.
Jay and Bey are extremely powerful is an understatement. You don't get a well-known rumor about you being the heads of the Illuminati without exerting broad brawn and vigor in the presence of others. In 2018, Jay-Z even beat out Diddy for world's richest rapper. And with money comes power. And with power comes great responsibility. Oh, wait, sorry. I mean, with money comes the attitude that you can do whatever the f you want. We talked a lot about rumors today, but rumors all start with a grain of truth. Now that this new lawsuit against Jay-Z has dropped, and after his defensiver AF response, the squeaky clean rep of Jay-Z and Beyonce isn't so shiny anymore. And as one of the most powerful couples in the world, Jay-Z and Beyonce, it's getting harder to believe that they didn't have some level of knowledge of Diddy's crime.
And this story, it's not over. There are still sealed court documents, unseen photos, insiders who haven't spoken yet. Some are just waiting to see their names mentioned in the same breath as Ice Cube's denial. So buckle up, because if Ice Cube's mic drop was the beginning, then what's coming next might just be the explosion. Don't forget to subscribe for more raw, unfiltered stories like this. Leave a comment. What do you think Jay-Z's role really was? And does this shift how you see Beyonce's rise?